face, French true believers. Welcome to the Pitch Nerds episode 118. Yes, we are the weekly show where two nerds assemble to bring you the latest nerdy news, reviews, and occasionally pitch things. I'm Cap, and with me today, as always, best friend, fellow nerd, and man who now owns 3 kidneys, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, you glorious hound.
Yeah, well, only one of them works, and only just starting to. The other two are definitely like they're there, but they don't do much. They're just for show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So those of you that have been following on Twitter, I've been posting on Twitter. Thank you for all the support. By the way, really appreciate it. Definitely made my hospital visit a lot better. I'm gross right now, so I apologize. Like, I got stuff coming out of me and all sorts of things. I'm on like more drugs than you can imagine, but I really wanted to hang and chat and just do our show. So
Yes.
we got up and we decided to do it. But yeah, so on. Let's see. I finished surgery on. I got my kidney on the 6th. It was a violent insurrection of my body. January 6th. And then I kidney woke up, I think yesterday, where I had what's called a sleepy kidney. But I'm peeing buckets of pee now.
Nice.
So that's good. It's a little weird peeing again, not gonna lie.
Oh.
Well, because like I haven't used those muscles in a long time, and I'm not used to having like liquid in bladder and stuff like that. So it's like I'm having to like relearn all of that, you know.
It's like, what does it tickle?
Yeah. And then pooping is the worst, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
Because you have to push.
It hurts. Oh yeah.
Well, it's like the best way I can describe like recovering from this is, you feel like your guts are just gonna fall out of your body all the time.
Oh God.
And like you're kind of in constant pain, and like you just kind of just gotta sit back. I'm not showing. Oh, I'll show a little bit of it. I wear this like not the wound, you fucking loser. I'm wearing like this like cummerbund thing that like you stretch and then it holds all your shit in.
Oh, it keeps it all in.
Yeah, all I can think of is Zach Brannigan because he wears those, you know, under his thing, so he looks a little bit. I'm just doing it to hold my stomach in place.
Right. You want
to
unintentionally disembowel yourself.
I mean, they're like, no, that can't happen, and it won't happen. I promise you. It just feels that way.
Right.
But having like pressure holding everything kind of just makes you feel more comfortable.
Safe. Yeah.
And it takes away some of the pain too.
I mean, that's good. I mean, compression always seems to help, but hey, you have color.
Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie, probably the hardest 4 days of my life. Like, I mean, I'm doing my best to take care of this thing. I never want to have to go through that again. Obviously, you can still lose a kidney. Mine's very good, so I'm hoping I keep it. Obviously, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to.
So I'm amazed that they didn't take out the bad ones. I thought that's what they were originally going to do.
They were originally going to, but normally they don't. But like they just put you a kidney in. The reason they didn't with me was because they would with me because my nerves are huge, and they cause me problems. But I've been having low blood pressure issue, and if taking the other ones out would have caused even more low blood pressure issue, and I actually ran into low blood pressure issues during the surgery anyway.
Okay.
So just from a safety caution, they left the choice to me.
Okay.
I elected to keep them in, and then if I want later down the road, they can LASIK them. And so it would be another surgery, but I figured that was the safest route right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, so I'm recovering pretty well so far. Pains up and down. Mostly, I just been chilling playing Baldur's Gate, and then I do some walking because you're supposed to get a little bit of exercise in.
Right. Helps sort of wake everything up.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, so at the hospital they have this thing where if you like walk 13 laps around the ward, you get a T-shirt. I guess most people couldn't do it, but I did it.
Oh,
So I got my free T-shirt. It's too small, but
no,
I
it's a
got
thought,
it.
right?
Yeah,
So, how long were you in the hospital for this?
4 days.
God. So, when I was younger, I had my appendicitis, and there's a whole story behind it, but I was essentially 30 minutes away from actually dying because it had already ruptured right when they were going in there.
Mhm.
And it was just, everything was just so rotten and gangrene that over what's normally like an in and out thing nowadays through the belly button, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks because it was just that gross in there. And they're just detoxing me. And I can remember trying to walk around the ward. I was so weak, you could barely move. And you're there carting this IV, and that's
Yeah,
it,
that was my first walk. My first walk, I could only make it like I couldn't even do half a lap. We basically walked a little bit, and I'm like shuffling with a walker.
right.
And then the second walk, I made it 2 laps, but I was out of breath.
Mm.
And then I don't know. All of a sudden, I was like, "Yes." You know what happened? You know the scene in all I could think of was this.
Mm.
You know that scene in Winter Soldier
Mm.
where Falcon is running and Cap goes on your left, and then he's like
Right.
runs the whole thing, goes
On
on
your
your left.
left. Right.
Yeah, so there was this old woman with a walker, and then there was me with a walker, and I kept lapping her, and I was going on your left, not out loud, but in my brain,
Right.
and like it was like a like yeah, a fucking old and slow and like beaten by like transplant version of that scene,
Right.
like
That's awesome.
that was all I could think of. Like I tried to explain it to people, but they didn't get it.
I get it. I totally get it.
I know you did, but at the hospital, I'm like telling the nurse, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Captain America. You mean the first one?" I was like, "No, it's actually the second one."
Pedantic as always. Anyways, glad you are feeling better. I can already tell immediately you look better.
Yeah.
Your color looks better. You just seem better in general. You have your hoodie down. You're less dour. You have the. You're looking good. Your beard is.
Well,
perfectly
it's
coiffed.
because I don't want to have this cummerbund thing all exposed, so I zipped the hoodie up enough,
Hmm.
but it's a little hot in here, so
No.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
acclimatize. But yeah,
But-
hardest part is changing the bandages and stuff like that. But every time I do it, I just pretend like I'm in one of those like movies
Right.
where it's like I just got fucked up and I'm like,
You're fucking Bruce Willis and Die Hard.
yeah,
bringing up
exactly.
the
And like I'm
shards of
about
glass
to
out
go
of his-
like take out the bad guys and stuff like
God,
that.
that's such
Like,
a brutal
I
scene
have
to
to
watch.
live in a movie in order to like make my life work.
Oh, I'm in a sitcom every day, a cartoon sitcom. That's how I treat the world. Anyways, we did get a little bit of late start. We had some issues on our end. Apologize, but we are back. My goodness, what do we have going today? We have. I know you finished Echo. I started watching Echo. We have Behold Nerds with my goodness, what did we watch? The Snyder
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon. We're actually doing some pitches today. Our board game pitches. I'm excited for that.
And then we got Killer Rabbit, a Carbonog versus Iron Man, and then as always, nerdy news.
Nerdy news. Do. Anyway, shall we just dive right in?
Yeah, just jump right in. Yeah, sure. So, I don't know if you heard about this, but the Netflix series are now considered canonical to the greater Marvel MCU.
Yeah.
So we have some information about the upcoming Daredevil Born Again.
Mm-hmm.
Both Eldon Henson and Deborah Ann Wolf will return as Foggy and Karen.
Yes, so I heard that originally they were written off, like they were killed off or something early on. So I've heard a lot of rumors about this. Apparently this entire show's gotten an entire overhaul. A lot of massive
There's a couple
reshoots.
of things, yeah. Like, what did you think of the Daredevil? I mean, we'll get to it, obviously, when we talk Echo, but since we're talking Daredevil, what did you think of the Daredevil fight in Echo?
So,
because a lot of people online are bitching about it, but I feel like
so here's how I interpreted this fight. So, Daredevil is mowing through all these guys, and he comes up against somebody who, oh, this person can hold their own, but he, she isn't threatening enough to Daredevil where it like impedes him from carrying out what he needs to do. So it's like, okay, we're going to dance a little bit, and then he just poofed off to carry on his mission, so to speak. So I think he sort of regarded her with like a little bit of respect, like maybe he saw her as like, yeah, I'm going to wallop you, but I'm
Yeah,
not going to
I meant more like
wallop you.
people were bitching about like I think there's a thing right now. Like, I mean, obviously I spend time in the cesspool that is Twitter. Like there's good stuff on Twitter because we've made some really tight homies, but
Right.
um a lot of it's just like people bitching about stuff that like really isn't there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm.
And yeah, they were all bitching about the choreography on that scene. One person was like, it's like watching two grandmothers fight.
I thought
And
it
I'm
was
like,
all
you
right.
must know some acrobatic grandmothers. It's
I loved
because
when he
she,
flipped over the fence.
yeah, and like dodged the
Right.
shot.
That was cool.
And then it's because like a she does a delayed kick at one point,
Mm.
and a delayed kick is a move. It's still so like you like go to block it, but oh, then it goes.
Right.
And like and so people were like, oh, it's slow. The thing is they did wide shots. They didn't do any speed ramping. They limited the cuts.
Right.
And it's good choreography. It's just they like people are just like, I don't know, man. It's like if it's not got a billion jump cuts like and speed ramps and shaky can,
Right.
I feel like I like it more pure like that,
Right.
like and then I saw someone go online. I mentioned this in the group chat.
Mm.
Someone was like, "Oh, it doesn't hold a candle to this," and then they showed a scene from the raid.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking raid. Nothing
Nothing
compares
compares
to
to
the
the
raid.
raid.
I mean, like I was like, okay, here, let's compare two of the fighters here. One of them was trained as a child by his grandfather, who's a master in what I forget it's called Silat martial arts,
Right.
and started a school.
Right.
The other is a person with limited fight training and a prosthetic leg.
Yeah. Like
You know what I mean?
karate training and a prosthetic leg. Yes.
Yeah, it's he did a good job. It was a cool little scene.
I thought it was like I thought it was fine because people were complaining
Yeah, they just complained about
that,
everything.
oh, this female's beating up Daredevil. I didn't see it as that. It's just
I
like,
don't
oh,
know about that side of thing. You just saw a lot of bitch about the choreography, but
oh. See,
you know what I did
I
enjoy?
like hearing the back, the other garbage. It's just
Yeah,
entertaining to me.
I
But
like the back when he was in She-Hulk. That was actually my favorite stuff because we got to see more of his, like you
it's
said,
like
like
Spider Man. Yeah, he's like Spider
yeah.
Man.
Like it's nice when you see him being agile and athletic and
Right,
acrobatic and stuff like that.
right.
So yeah, I'm excited for Daredevil Born Again. I really, really am,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad that they rolled those in, even if I don't like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them all, and it's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Right.
And they don't really take away anything, It's just Luke Cage, bring him in again,
I
sure,
like
but
Luke Cage, but only the first half of Luke Cage. I feel like he could have
yes,
ended.
that was the problem with almost all of those. They went too long,
Right, right,
and it was like you've completed the story. Why am I still watching this? Like,
right.
we'll get to Echo again, but like I thought the like 5 episodes, like they told their story,
Mm-hmm.
like moving on. Anyway, so next bit of news. So I don't know if you heard about this. So Mandalorian season 4,
Yep.
it was all written, and then Lucasfilms decided,
We're gonna do a movie.
yeah, we're gonna do a movie.
Right.
So the movie is gonna be, I mean, right now titled The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes.
But John Favreau is set to direct
Mm-hmm.
with a theatrical release planned.
Well,
I don't know. I was enjoying a show, to be
yeah.
honest.
I don't feel like this needs to be a movie, but
I mean, look. Here's the thing. Where it ended, I could see you could do like an awesome bounty hunting thing of him teaching Grogu,
mm-hmm.
and it could be a single contained,
Right.
hour and a half, 2 hour story,
Right.
and it would work just fine.
Right.
And so if they go that route, it would work. But I do enjoy my weekly adventures in that world.
Right.
So,
I kind of like Mandalorian, even though it's a big story, I guess. I like it shown on the smaller scale. Like I feel like it's
Yeah.
better suited for that kind of storytelling because it's the different chapters, if
Well,
you will.
and a lot of times TV nowadays surpasses film because it's told longer and slower, you know?
Right. So this is slated. So it was announced we got the director for the new Ray movie. That's a whole other internet rabble, but apparently this is going to be taking over its release spot. So the Ray sequel movie is going to be pushed back for the Mandalorian movie. Um, Say what you will
Yeah.
about that. I know that there's a lot of backlash over the announcement of the sequel director. Um, so maybe this is their way of trying to fix that at Disney. But I don't know. I would I watch a Mandalorian movie? Yes. I just feel like it's just best told on the smaller scale. I just I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
Yeah,
do think you could do it though.
it could be
Kind of
done.
like, what do you call it? Firefly, and then they had the Firefly movie. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And I know that didn't do well, but it was a good movie.
It was a good
Uh,
movie. Actually,
just because
that'd
something
make a great
doesn't do
behold
well
nerds.
doesn't mean
That that
it's
would make a
not good.
that would make a great behold nerds. Just
Yeah.
the only thing I didn't like about the movie is it felt like it was just so much crammed in. It felt like
Oh
two,
yeah,
three
I thought the
seasons.
pacing was good. I mean, I was fine with it. But I don't know. I think you could do it. I think you could, if they do like, because it ended, and now what are they doing next? And you could just do an adventure with them.
Right.
You know,
Hey, Frosty, how do reavers clean their harpoons?
I don't
They
remember.
drive them through the wash. Ah,
Too soon. Too soon.
That's it. That's all I got. Um, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
but yeah, I don't know. I'll watch. Either way, they've already got my money against the Mandalorian. I mean,
yeah.
I love the Mandalorian,
I just
and I
hope they
don't give
bring
a
it.
shit what people say. I loved season 3 so much.
Season 3 was
Uh,
fine. I just wish it was more about the way Disney told the story, where you had the Book of Boba Fett, and then they had the Mandalorian show up and be like, "Oh, this is my show now," and you have 2 episodes that just sort of take away. It just the way they told the story felt disjointed. It felt like there's
no,
a
I
path that
agree
was set.
that they shouldn't have shoehorned in 2 episodes of Mandalorian in Book of Boba Fett.
Just you know what it
Um,
did? It felt like season 3. It did what Rise of Skywalker did, or what or last. It seemed like it did what the Last Jedi did, where it set up season 2 set up a thing, and then season 3 came along and said no,
but
and
I don't. The way I see it, the way I saw the story
mm,
is it was like he found Grogu. He
mm,
was trying to return Grogu to his people.
yep,
In that part of the journey, he became Grogu's father.
yes,
Grogu and him realized that.
right,
Grogu comes back to him. They're like, you know what? I've got you. You've got me. I'm your dad. You're my son.
right,
Now his priorities completely changed,
right,
and that's why he was like, Bo Katan is the answer
right,
because she can unite the tribe. It all worked for me.
right,
And I think that the reason people, and I've noticed this since we've been doing this show,
mm,
people have a hard time when the lead character isn't the
focus,
greatest at it and best at everything. They have a hard time because it's like, well, why didn't he keep the dark saber? Why didn't he unite them? Why
mm,
didn't he do this? Why didn't he do this? Because it didn't make sense for him to. When
right.
you really think about
No,
it,
it does.
his
It's just
priority was his son.
it just you know what it was for me. It was that at the end of season 2, they alluded to this tensions between him and Bo-Katan.
They
It was seeded. Like it was like, oh, at some point they're going to have to cross each other. Is what the tone they left it off on, and I thought that was interesting. I thought that was fucking cool as hell. Whether or not
yeah,
it was his, it was still. It's like Harry Potter. He earned the Elder Wand. Well, I don't want it.
right.
Well, I can't just give it to you. You need to best me at it, and if you best me, then you earn it. It's sort of like that. So for him to just, here you go. It just I understand where you're coming from. I don't have an issue with that. It's just the how they did it was just a little wobbly for me. It's not egregious to where I'm gonna like blow up Twitter. It's just
I don't know. It all worked for me. I didn't. I had I had your expectations, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where I thought it was going.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it didn't, and then I was like, but he has a son, and he's not who he was.
Right. See, I don't
And
have a
then
problem with
you
that.
look at where it ends, and it ends with him with his kid
Flying
just
away.
fucking chilling out
Yeah.
at their little house and stuff. And I'm just like, hell yeah, he got it. He did it.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't want that.
Right.
He wanted a place for his son, and
Right.
he rebuilt Mandalorian society. And he doesn't want to be the guy in the spotlight.
No, he doesn't.
He just wants to be Din Djarin.
Right. But
Yeah.
I think they could have played with that more, where he doesn't want this thing, but he has it because he won it.
Yeah.
I think they could have explored that more. Is all I'm saying.
Maybe.
Because
Maybe. I just
it
feel
just
like
it seems like a completely wasted, not even a Chekhov's gun, just like a wasted opportunity where you have this person who doesn't want to lead and he has this thing. What do you do with it?
yeah, I
I
don't
just
know.
I feel like it could have been explored more, other than just
Maybe.
here you go.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. I just
Like I have
it was
no
one of those
problem.
things
I have
where
zero qualm with
yeah.
Bo-Katan getting the dark. She is best fit for role. She's a cool character. She's established. She has she is best fit to rebuild Mandalore and do all that. Yeah, absolutely. And I think they could have played with that because they're both on the same side.
So I guess
It
it goes
just
back to what I'm saying though. There's a thing in film
right.
that people hate, and Kevin Smith plays with it, and other
Mm.
people play with it, and they don't like it. And that's because you get an expectation, and then it's dismissed,
See,
and that pisses people off.
see that bothers me because Luke Skywalker's a bitch. And
Yeah, but
he's dying in or in peril in every scene that he's in, and yet he has his flaws, but that's what makes him like great because it's about his friends sort of elevating him to be the
I
hero.
don't know how that translates to what I was saying.
I
Though.
don't know,
Like,
but
but I'm just talking about like in anything, like people don't like it in movies or stories
right.
when you break the formula,
Hmm.
like you go expectation, and then they go, oh, but I'm gonna flip it and go 180, and like because I was building up exactly what you were thinking.
Hmm.
Oh, there's gonna be a confrontation with him and Bo-Katan, and like I even thought that was like when the lady was like, remove your helmet, do you trust me? I was like, oh shit, she's on it,
Right,
and like I was
right,
totally expecting it, and then it didn't happen,
right,
and and then I was like, and I think people hate that. I like that because because all of a sudden I'm no longer predicting what's happening.
right.
And that's kind of why I like it. But you know what? Like from a psychological
Hmm.
point of view, it does make sense that people don't like that because human brains are built to seek patterns,
Hmm.
and we get endorphin releases when we
Yeah,
expect a
when we
pattern.
get things right,
And
right,
yeah, it's like a reward system built into us.
right.
And so when
They
we
do it
don't
in their
get it,
music,
yeah, when we don't get it, our brains are probably like, fuck this.
right.
Like, so yeah, I mean, I think it's something that storyteller at some point anyone that tells stories is gonna play with.
Hmm.
I just don't think it's a very popular thing. And so I think that was maybe what people had issue with. But again, I don't give a shit. Mandalorian season 3 was probably my favorite season. And that's just, but everybody has their own preferences.
I mean, it was cool to see
Um,
all the varieties of Mandalorians. That was awesome. I
yeah, with the
like
exception of when season 2, the scene with Luke was just so beyond dope.
that is the best thing to ever come out of Disney is that one scene from The Mandalorian season 2.
But
Oh,
anyway, are you guys excited for Mandalorian?
the movie.
You know, let us know. I want to get like a little floating like thing and put him in it, and then like
Well, you just keep it on the
anyway,
back of your hood.
yeah.
He's like a little
He's too
papoose.
heavy, dude. He weighs 20 pounds even.
God damn, big ass
uh,
guy.
Okay, so Robert Downey Jr. Oh yeah, this is interesting. He was talking about. See, this is what always pisses me off by fucking people. But Downey Jr. said he had some of his greatest acting work playing Iron Man,
Hmm.
and he goes, he believes it went unnoticed because of the genre.
Yeah.
Why do people shit on the superhero genre so much?
You know what? I think it was Nolan who actually brought the superhero genre to the forefront for like the average going people to take it seriously.
Yeah,
Um,
but like it's like I don't know. These people, certain people believe like if it's not gritty seriousness, it's not good.
right.
And like and it's like comedy is one of the hardest things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just as important as an art form as serious drama.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like yeah, like he knocked it out of the park. Like he was
He was
anytime
he was
Tony
Iron
was on
Man.
screen, yeah, you were like your eyes were locked on him.
Right.
And just his mannerisms and the
Yeah,
way
his charisma just
yeah,
he chewed up every scene that he was in.
yeah, Robert, he's exactly right. My question is, I just don't know why people shit on it so much.
Well, you know what?
Why do people shit on everything? Like,
Disney didn't shit on it because they gave him a bag of $50 million for.
true, yeah.
So I mean, somebody took him seriously, but
No,
no,
I know. Well, it
he
made
he,
fun
he,
of
he
money.
is. If it wasn't for his performance as Iron Man, I don't believe the MCU would have succeeded.
Yeah, I can agree. Well, yeah,
Because if you think of it this way, it started with Iron Man, Robert Downey
yeah.
Jr. If it bombed, then the next movie up was the Hulk movie, and
Mhm.
that wasn't very good either. So that would have been two misses right there.
It wasn't bad.
The whole movie was all right, but it wasn't Iron Man. And Iron Man was so good.
Honestly, and I know this like because again, I hang out with people online that just shit on the MCU all the time. But in my opinion, the only bad thing the MCU has really churned out
Mhm.
was Secret Wars
I was going to say
or
the
Secret
Inhumans.
Invasion. Secret
Inhumans.
Invasion. Sorry.
Inhumans.
Oh well, yeah. Was that MCU though?
Eh,
I thought that was a different studio.
oh yeah, it was still a part of the MCU, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Well, okay. The only thing Marvel
fine.
Studios
Marvel Studios,
has churned out that was bad
Secret
was
Invasion.
Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion just wasn't good.
Hmm.
And I can accept that. I liked it at first, and then it became a Phantom Menace for me. I was like, it's still good, it's still good. And then I just by the time I watched the last episode, I was like, and I thought about it, I was like, none of this makes any sense.
Right,
This wasn't good.
right.
What's going on? I haven't seen the Marvels yet, so I have no opinion on it yet.
Hmm. Oh,
I will see it when it's out for rent.
did you hear the big controversy about the deleted scene of the Marvels where it's Miss Marvel aboard Captain Marvel's ship, and then Valkyrie calls, and she's confused by Miss Marvel's presence, and she asks, "Oh, well, who is this? Another wife, or another, Marvel? You got married?" Like insinuating that Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel are wed, and the ship is about ready to go into like hyperspeed or something. So Valkyrie says a line, "Oh, be careful to strap on. I mean, strap in." And then the ship takes off. Now, I think it's pretty benign. However, the internet rabble is saying, well, Ms. Marvel is 16 in the MCU, so why is Valkyrie making these inappropriate insinuations and jokes towards this minor girl?
Yeah, well, everybody. Look, it's kind of a valid point, but at the same time, like, come on, when you were 16, you didn't make those kind of jokes. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right,
Like, yeah.
right.
I agree with you. It's basically benign, but yeah,
It's
they probably they made the right decision. They tried something out. They were like, oh, this is the wrong idea. They cut it. So
right,
what?
right.
Like, you win.
Right.
Like,
but the rabble is, oh, well, how dare Disney put this up on the internet, to show it off for people. It's so inappropriate. Rabble, rabble, rabble. Look at this agenda. Rabble, rabble, rabble.
I can't.
with ties to the Clinton Foundation. Rabble, rabble.
No, I can't handle it.
That's my new favorite one. So, so really quick. Uh, just they announced the new director for the Star Wars movie. I don't know her name, but I believe she's Pakistani. She is the first female Star Wars
uh,
producer or something. Whatever
director. Yeah,
director, whatever. I think that's arbitrary. I don't. That's just an arbitrary thing. No Mexican has produced a Lord of the Rings or something. Like, who cares? It's so arbitrary. But
yeah. I mean, I think there's something about it, but like, go on.
I don't care. But anyways, she said that she likes making men uncomfortable, and like an old interview, so people are taking that as, oh my god, this movie's going to be agenda, blah blah blah. I don't care. Everybody knows my feelings on Star Wars. Um, anyways,
I mean, look, this is where I go with all that shit. A, I ignore most of it because I just don't care anymore.
right.
And B, look, I'll watch it probably because I do, and if it's good, then I'll go, hey, you know what? It made me like Ray. I enjoyed this movie. If I watch it and I go, this is still not good, then I go, that's a shame.
Death by Soul
and then
2.
and then I'll watch some other thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just I don't want to sit there and spend my life taking apart things that people who are making this movie are saying in their off time to try and like go gender woke.
Well,
this
you know
and all
what's
that.
funny is because the moment they announced her to direct this movie, the internet just immediately started digging into its archives, and they pulled out this Jon Stewart interview from like 8 years ago. And I didn't know it at the time, and when I heard it, I was livid because I'm thinking, why? How is Jon Stewart interviewing this lady about Star Wars? This is weird. Like, I would have heard that. So when I heard the interview, it was just weird. But people were taking it at face value as like, oh, this just happened. She's saying this, and then of course people had to come out and be like, no, this is 8 years ago.
The problem is it's that thing where you've already decided what you think's happening,
right,
and then you're looking for evidence to back it up.
right,
And that is a completely flawed system.
right.
And you watch it happen with all these people. James Gunn, like, you know, like they're like you know, you turn on Twitter and everybody's, oh, look what Gunn did now. He said, and recently someone asked him on Twitter, they said, what did you think of the Penguin, you know, that series? And he said, I watched all the episodes and I liked it or something. And then someone posted that and they're like, oh no, he better not mess with that guy's side of the DC. It's the one good thing. And like, and all the Snyder guys, oh, James Gunn's like fucking liar and all this. And I'm like,
What?
and so I posted, he watched a show, and then I did the thing from The Simpsons, like, some think of the children, you know, like, it's so dumb.
Right.
It's so dumb, and I'm just done with it. And like, that's the thing I like about our show is we tend to skirt all that shit and stay on like, hey, this stuff is supposed to be fun. Let's have fun with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because and honestly, it like, why do you enjoy it? I ask this all the time. Why do you people enjoy doing this? What is the fun in that?
People enjoy, you know what it is? The internet has made it fun for people to hate.
Yeah, and they like trying to like beat each other and
right, and
like,
they try to like out troll each other. And it's
Yeah.
fun when you have an audience and you have some semblance of charisma and you're funny. Like,
Yeah.
it's intoxicating. I've seen people succumb to it. It's just sort of how our society is progressing. Now, what's funny is that back in our day, we didn't have the internet, so if you wanted to talk this type of crap, you had to do it face to face, and it didn't usually end well.
But we didn't hate all the time. It was
No,
like,
you know what's funny? We didn't hate things. Like,
yeah, like something would, you'd like wait forever, and then finally something would come out in the genre that you liked. And a lot of time you had to like you know, like find obscure magazines and stuff like that,
Right.
like heavy metal, and you have to like, I had to go into London and go to a special shop and buy what I wanted.
right.
And then there was like a small group of people that were into that, and you would maybe like write letters to forums and stuff like that.
Right.
But it was all about enjoying the content,
Right.
not shitting on the content.
Right.
And look, and I get it. Like people are like, oh, you're just like you just don't want it to be perfect. Like it's not that I don't want it to be perfect. It's just like I'm gonna enjoy what I enjoy, and then I'm just gonna like that
Move on.
sucked. Okay,
Right.
moving on.
Move on.
You
Yeah.
know, like and I'm not gonna like 3 years before something comes out, decide I don't like it, and
Right.
then spend 3 years proving why it's bad.
Right.
And you know what I mean? That's just dumb.
So
I'm
you know what?
sorry.
You know what's funny, and I haven't seen it yet. Honestly, I don't really have an interest in it. But with the Marvels, all the rabbles were saying, "Oh, it's the worst MCU movie. It's the worst." Like, if you look at the reviews, people didn't say it was bad. It wasn't perfect by any means, and it looked like it was at the expense of the chopping block. It seemed like there was a lot that they tried to cram in,
Mm,
and apparently the director wasn't present during post production for the final edits or something. So studio shit, but. Overall, people didn't say it was bad, and once it's on Disney Plus, I'm sure Mrs. Cap and I are going to throw it on and just sit. I'll sit
oh
there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I
So,
want to see it just for I like Ms. Marvel,
yeah.
Kamala
Which
Khan.
apparently she's the scene stealer.
That
I
makes
like
sense. Yeah.
I like that even
You know
though
what I like about her,
mm,
and as a person,
mm,
that made me instantly respect her as like a fellow nerd. I was like, she gets it.
mm,
Um, she posted on Twitter or something that like, oh, the MCU calls it 616, but let's be real, we all know it's 1999999.
1999
And I was like, hell yeah,
yeah.
like she gets it.
She gets it.
But anyway, we're going off of too many rants. Top Gun 3 is in works.
Oh,
Script is currently being written. Joseph Kosinski is set to return to direct Top Gun 3. I don't know if I need a Top Gun 3.
okay.
Because the first one was the iconic Top Gun,
Right.
and then the second one was, hey, let's go
Just
back to it, and they
and
knocked it out of the
and
park.
do Star Wars.
And yeah, they did the Star Wars, but they knocked it out of the park.
Right.
That was a great film. You did it.
Stop.
No, yeah, stop.
Stop.
Yeah, like we're done. We're done. Like, I mean, like at the tell a different military thing with jets. It doesn't need to be Top Gun.
So, you know what I did? Harkening back to our Nintendo pitches, I centered my whole Nintendo Cinematic Universe around Star Fox, and I broke it down into two movies where you had Star Fox Alpha Flight, which would have set up like the backstory to explain everything, and it would have been like because they talked about it in Top Gun, where Maverick's father was a pilot, and they alluded to him being the best and a part of like missions and shit, but they never really get into it. I wanted that to be Star Fox Alpha Flight and really get into like the backstory, and then when you have the Star Fox movie, it was gonna be like a full on Top Gun movie. It's gonna be badass.
Hang on one second. I need water, so I'm just gonna text my sister. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah. So I think you could do in the Top Gun universe is for a third movie.
I would tell the
Forget.
prequel with his father.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right.
But what I would do if I was in charge, and it wouldn't work because Tom Cruise would never allow it. Don't do it with Tom Cruise.
Right.
And then even though I think like I have a trouble look, I respect Tom Cruise for his art. I don't respect him for his religious choices.
Right.
But I'm pulling artists from art from the artist.
Right.
I do respect him for his art, but I would not do Tom Cruise, and then I would do because it's a school,
Right.
so I would do a story about the school,
Right.
like and people going through it or something like that. Basically, kind of like Top Gun 1,
Right.
but a different person, different issues, different motivations,
Right.
and like, hey, like this is because that's essentially your universe. There is the academy,
school. Right.
so yeah, like that's what you have to play with.
Yeah.
Okay, so WB bosses, are hoping. Also, speaking Tom Cruise, are hoping to get Tom Cruise to develop Edge of Tomorrow too. Now, I just said what I just said,
Right.
but fuck yes, give me more Edge of Tomorrow. All You Need Is Kill. That was the manga, what it was named at.
Yeah,
That was the original.
right.
Was so dope.
That was a
So dope.
cool fucking movie.
Fuck yes. Cool movie. Give me more, give me more, give me more.
That was the whole
Um,
nerds, right? I'm pretty sure that was
yeah,
the
we
whole
did it
because
for Whole
yeah,
Nerds.
because
Yeah, had you seen it before?
I had seen it, so
Yeah, it's
I
one of
wanted to
those
see it.
movies that's a really cool sci-fi movie based on Japanese manga that like nobody saw. And like
Mm,
and I tell people like, no, you got to check this movie out. It is actually really badass.
right.
And I've never sat someone down with me to make them watch the movie, and they've not enjoyed it. Like, I mean, my dad probably wouldn't, or someone like my mom wouldn't.
Mm,
But people who are into sci-fi and stuff like that,
mm,
they all are like, wow, that was way cooler than I thought it was going to be. And it's because I think they renamed the movie 3 times. People weren't sure what was going on,
right.
and like, yeah. So, when you actually see it, you're just like, this is cool as shit.
It's cool fucking movie.
That's what I mean about Tom Cruise. What I just said, like, I respect his art,
Mm,
like art from the art from the artist. I respect what he does. Like,
right.
I think he actually is a good actor.
Mm.
I do think his ego's way too big.
Yeah, but he's
Like,
Tom Cruise. He will put asses in the seats.
yeah, true. And it's like he's an actual superhero and shit. There's a lot of crazy shit about it. Maybe science, maybe space magic is real. I don't know.
I
Um,
mean, when you put enough money into it, sure, you
yeah,
can
but
convince
like,
yourself
I
it
didn't.
works.
Have you heard about all the stories? Like people have like nearly died around him. He's like ripping cars open and like chucking people. And like people have like actually said, if your life is in danger and Tom Cruise is near, he will save you. He's like Spider-Man. Like it's insane. Like, and the dude knows, like, oh yeah, I can fly jets and helicopters, and oh yeah,
Right,
one time I held on to the side and I climbed this building, and like,
right. He does all of his own stunts now for the most
yeah,
part.
and he's like 100 years old too, and he
Oh, he
looks
looks
like he's
great.
fucking yeah.
It's all them. It's all them baby fetuses. It's all them embryos. It's all them.
So we got a new Star Trek movie in works with Toby Hayes. That's Andor.
Mm,
Um, hang on one second, my ice water's here. Ah.
attaboy. Anyways,
Anyway, so it's the Andor. Set the guy who directed Andor is set to direct the new Star Trek movie, and it's going to be an origin story set decades before the 2009 Star Trek film.
okay. I mean, give me more Trek. Just what I don't like about Trek. What it's become lately, it's become more action based. Like I miss the days of
But
just
that's the thing, though. We're getting the Andor guy,
right.
so like him in Star Trek, that sounds like a marriage made in
Right.
heaven.
So hopefully we get more of the, and that's why I kind of like our any battle with Spock because you get to
Yeah.
think Star Trek. So yeah, you get somebody like Superman is like, oh my god, how do you fight Superman? Well, it's logically if he has this and this and this issues, we can recalibrate this to do la 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 la. Like there's an intelligence to Star Trek that I didn't appreciate when I was younger that I've come to greatly appreciate now.
I
Because
watched a lot of Next Generation. That was kind of my era of
yeah,
Star Trek.
that was mine.
'Cause it was always on, and I would sit there and watch it, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, that ship was ridiculously huge for the amount of people on it. And when you go back and watch it, they are like just doing yoga in the hallways because there's like nobody around and
Yeah.
stuff, and it was like a huge ship for very few people.
Well, because it was meant
Uh,
for deep space, like it was meant for those long voyages. So yeah, I needed to have accommodations, and plus, you never
I
know
know,
if
but
you're
it
gonna
had
just find
way
yourself
more. It had way more rooms than people were using,
right. But
and
say
like
whenever they need it, so what happens? Let's say, oh, we need to evacuate this planet. Well, we got all this room,
true.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
I get
they
you.
did utilize that, and see that's what makes it great. And that's one of those weird Frosty observations where yeah, they have this big ship. Well, yeah, it's a those ships are meant to be long distance and be able to sort of handle everything that's thrown at them. So
They're
yeah,
ultra comfortable and stuff. I mean, admittedly, like if you were in, like if you like, I'm sure there are better ones and everything, but just
mm,
like going off of like the general zeitgeist of sci-fi,
Trek.
if, if you on some kind of spaceship
Hmm.
the Enterprise is a pretty good way to go because it's just ultra luxury.
Oh yeah,
And like it's fast and it does all that and it kind of holds its own in battle.
yeah, yeah,
And then you've got a fucking holodeck. You got this thing over here that'll make
you
you
have a space
anything.
bar.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, just the replicator. I can have anything I want.
Right.
Yeah, it'll just make it for you.
So, with as I'm writing Quantum, Star Trek is sort of like the peak sci-fi when it comes to like representing like actual like probable sci-fi.
Right.
Um, I think Michio Kaku classified Star Trek as Type 2 and Star Wars as Type 3 just because of like the power output. But I don't like comparing Star Wars to Trek because one's a fantasy, so it's hard to, you can't fit those two pieces together. So as far as tech goes, yeah, absolutely Star Trek. And I have a lot of stuff in Quantum, like the fabricators. Like we were starting to see those now with actual fabricators. It's that same principle. Just scale it up. And yeah, you can do that. It's just moving atoms around. You can do anything. You just blah. Here you go. Whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once we invent the holodeck with that tech with the replicator technology,
Yeah.
that's like the death of humanity. Like we're gonna like because
you think Wally was bad.
well, it's like I would go into a holodeck and I would never ever come out. Like that would be
Right.
that would be it. Like why would I? Like
You don't have to.
I mean, I can now go play D&D for real. You know what I mean? Like I can, I can hang out with Scarlett Johansson, like I can be an Avenger if I wanted, know. And like and it's so good that like you mean if I order a slice of cheesecake, it's delicious fucking cheesecake. I mean like that's how good it is. And then the medical science, like I just got this operation. It's so good that I would have been like pew pew pew. You're good. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's like I don't know. Like anyway, let's see. This one is another one like that it's kind of like, do we need this? I don't know. 28 years later.
Yes. Okay,
Is
yes.
in the works with a hope to launch a new trilogy. Danny Boyle would direct with Alex Garland writing the script. So 28 days later was great. 28 weeks later was not that good.
It was all right.
And it wasn't bad. But
it was all right. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, but 28 days later was especially good.
Yes.
And then 28 years later, it's like I understand trying to just
okay,
don't.
So here's the thing. It feels like it's been 28 years since the last movie. I feel like this movie should have been out years ago.
It might have been. And anytime someone points how long ago something is, I'm like, fuck, really? Like,
right. I did really enjoy the first two movies. The first more than the second, but I did really enjoy the second one. I've been waiting for a sequel to the conclusion or the third movie.
Okay.
For at least over 10 years now. It's bro, it's been like 13 fucking years since the last movie, bro.
Okay. Look, then I'm wrong, and I totally accept that. I just feel like we didn't even need the sequel, and I felt like, and so that was like for me, the first movie just knocked it out of the park. It's not a universe that I need to revisit, and like the best you could do is do like way later remake it like a Magnificent Seven style where they pull it off somehow.
Yeah,
but even then, you don't even need to do it. Just leave the first one alone. Yeah. But that's just my opinion.
No, of course. But I mean, at the end of the second one, they alluded to like the larger scale how the infection is spread. Yeah. So it'd be. I'm a fan for zombie-esque movies if they're handled correctly. They just need to be done correctly.
And so, I totally support you in going. You're digging the story. What's the next step? So
right.
And I didn't even think about that aspect of it. So I totally
No. But either way, I just feel like wow, y'all's just now getting back to this.
Yeah, that happens. It's totally not something I would admit to normally, I guess, but I may have talked about it on the show before. The only romantic movie I've ever enjoyed is a little indie film called Before Sunrise,
Mm,
and then like 9 years later they made a sequel called Before Sunset,
mm,
and then they made a movie like another one like many years later called Before Something, and and you could argue like that for exactly the argument I'm making. Leave with the first one,
mm,
but I've enjoyed revisiting these people
mm.
and finding out because it progresses,
Right,
and so like where are they now? Where are they now? Where are they now?
right.
And they're not all as good as I think the first one's still the best one,
Mm,
but I'm enjoying, and so I see that point of view.
mm.
Um, yeah, if you ever want to see the only romance movie, I may make it. It would be such an out of character choice for our show,
More so
but
than Princess Bride?
yeah, no, before sunset, it's a movie just about this guy. He's in his girlfriend broke up with him, and he's riding the train to get back to the United States. He meets a French girl,
Mm,
and they spend the night in Belgium together.
mm,
And they decide that in the morning, because this is before like cell phones
mm,
and shit, they decide because like long distance relationships wouldn't work. They're just gonna have this one fun night. And then at the end of the film, they're like, "No, this can't be it. This can't be it," because they fall in love.
mm,
And then, but it literally the movie is just them walking around
mm.
a small town in I can't even remember where, but like maybe Belgium,
Yeah.
and just talking. It's that style of movie is a talkie.
Hmm.
It's just two people talking.
Right.
And yeah, it's my all time favorite romantic movie.
Actually, there's
I mean,
a.
I would say it's the only romantic movie that I actually like. I'm like, wow, that's actually beautiful. You
So
know?
you know what's a good recent one that Mrs. Cap actually got me on? I think you might have seen it. Destination Wedding with Keanu Reeves and my goodness, what's her name? Winona Ryder. Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder. Oh, this would make a great behold, nerds. It's just it's a destination wedding, and it's just the two of them just bantering dialogue. If you're a fan of, you know what? Yes, I'm going to skip ahead. That's going to be our behold nerds.
It's probably still not a talkie. A talkie is a very specific type of film
Mm.
where it's literally like a conversation.
So this is the entire movie is a conversation, but it's a really
Okay.
well written conversation. So,
Yeah.
it, God, this is going to sound cheesy. You know, you remember the show The Gilmore Girls?
Uh-huh.
Like, remember how fluid the dialogue is
Yeah.
in that show? So it's sort of like that, but it's just so good. And Keanu Reeves is just such a. Just no spoiler. Go into it blind, and I
Okay.
think you'll
Okay.
really enjoy it.
All right. So okay. So this sounds so cool. I mean, I would I want in on this so bad. If any of you guys watch our show, please get in. Ask us because we want in. Because I have like we have our group chats nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we got I title ours nerds.
Mm,
Then I have another group chat called Dungeons and Dragons, and then I have another group chat called Family.
mm,
So I got group chats. So Kevin Hart was talking about one of his.
mm.
He says he has a secret action movie group chat. Listen to who's on this group chat: Dwayne Johnson, Mark Wahlberg, Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford,
Wow.
Jet Li, Jackie Chan. That must be the coolest
Oh my
group
God.
chat on planet Earth.
Can you imagine the memes they send to each other?
Oh god, like
I want to be a bug on that wall.
I know, look, I'm 42, but can I be a Make-A-Wish kid? And I just got the kidney and everything. Please, someone help me get into this group chat. Look, just a day, just 24 hours, just 24 hours, just 24 hours.
Can you
Like,
imagine what Harrison Ford would contribute to that conversation?
I have
It's
no
like, I
idea.
can't even wrap my head
And
around
then
that.
Jet Li and Jackie Chan, like
God.
it's so random.
Ah.
But they're all basically gods in their own right. And
Right.
like and then like Tom Cruise, maybe I get the Tom Cruise cake. You've heard about the Tom
Yeah,
Cruise
yeah,
cake,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited about this next bit of news. Ahsoka has officially been renewed for season 2. Yay!
Yay.
You didn't like it. Did you finish it? No.
I didn't finish it.
It's so good. Why aren't you watching this?
Because I'm writing.
Yeah, but like you like to watch sci-fi because it helps your sci-fi.
Yeah, I know.
And we'll finish Ahsoka. Fucking just finish it. Like, trust me, it's just really good Star Wars, and it's nice to have good Star Wars, and I'm really excited that we're getting more of it. Because like, yeah, like when Star Wars is good, Star Wars is so good,
Right.
and I really feel like this was one of those examples. I mean, you had crazy witches doing pagan rituals on a fucking another thing, and then like what's that guy's deal? What's he doing?
Hmm.
And then like they're riding these fucking beasts full like explosions are going around them, and then zombie stormtroopers. You can't tell me that's not fucking dope. And it had the best lightsaber scene we've seen in like ages. Like, so yeah, like to me, hell yes, hell yes, hell yes. And then all those fucking people are like, oh, Sabine, she just mastered the force. It took 10 fucking years. She is the longest person to pull it off. Like, I'm gonna get really angry about this. I've been taking these pills and they enhance my emotion.
That's awesome.
I'm not joking. That's seriously what they said. Yeah, I can.
Do you feel like a teenager again?
Dude, I've broken down into tears over like nothing. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, so last bit of news. Oh yeah, this is kind of funny. So we all know that Mickey is now specifically the Steamboat Mickey,
Willie. Yep.
is now officially public domain.
Let
So
the movies begin. The indie
well,
movies.
Adult Swim aired this on the night that it became public domain. It was the big words "public domain, bitch," and then it was Mickey, and he was kissing their logo and like humping it. And like that was their like thing that he did. I just found it amusing.
I haven't seen that. No, I'll look that up. Nerdy news. I sent you the link. Did you check out the Masters of the Universe trailer?
I sent it to you first, and then you said looks dope, and then all of a sudden you sent it back to me, and I was like, was this? Did he mean to do this, or was he just saying looks dope and didn't actually watch the video?
I finally sat and watched it. It looks dope. Like,
it does.
So this is going to tie into we started late, so we should probably get moving on here. This can tie into my Rebel Moon pitch. It looked good. It focused on He-Man, but they also hinted at Tila, so I'm sure people are like upset about that. But it was like
the sorceress now. I mean, so it makes sense,
right? But I like how we got to see like the other stages of armor. What new toys can we buy at the store? Here's He-Man in this new armor. Check out this guy in this armor.
The reason I like He-Man is it's a fantasy science world, but it's kind of like New Genesis.
Yeah.
Because there are all these like godlike figures, you know what I mean? He-Man's like the most powerful of them, but like everybody he runs into is like the most badass warrior ever.
Right.
And I mean, like, other than just normal people, they're there, but like.
But you know what's cool is we got to see Hordak. And if we see Hordak, that's gonna possibly bring in
with Skeletor, and then I know. I don't believe me, dude. I saw that and I was just like, oh hell yes! And it's coming out soon. It's January 25th, right. So we'll be watching that show for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, let's. We'll do a quick Echo review. You're not finished. How far are you in?
I'm 3 episodes in. I think. Okay. Yeah, 3 episodes in.
So here's my overall opinion, and we'll talk about it and more. I really, really, really like this show. Where the show shines most is when they're really going into the roots of her heritage and her culture. It was all handled exceptionally well, and then also Kingpin, fucking best Kingpin you could ever get. There are parts where it's a little bit like but like overall, I thought this show was great. Shut up and take my money. Can't wait for more. Well, I think Marvel Spotlights is, I think it's working for me. Like Hawkeye was great. Then we had this, and then I think these littler projects that they're putting out are crushing it. They're like Werewolf by Night. You know what I mean? Like the only one that was like really, really bad was the Secret Invasion. But
so I'm enjoying Echo so far. I'll have a lot to say, I'm sure, once I'm done watching it. Kingpin is fantastic. He doesn't Kingpin doesn't feel scary in this. I don't know why.
Oh, I disagree.
I'm only a few episodes in. I hope because in the Daredevil he's like smashing people's heads in with cars. He just feels there's a guy who's even afraid to say his name because it's the fucking Kingpin.
Yeah, see, I don't know. As soon as she gets off her bike and he's standing there, I was like, "Who next episode?" Because I was just thinking, like, she can't beat him.
Right.
I mean, like, and like stuff happens, like her powers kick in and stuff,
Hmm.
so it changes
So
things.
does
But
she? I'm not terribly familiar with this character in the comics. Does she have those powers in the comics?
I'm not terribly familiar with the
Hmm.
character in the comics either. So,
But anyways, I'm enjoying it so far. We'll see how it concludes. We'll see. I think X-Men is coming out next,
I
right?
think the ending will piss. I think the ending of Echo. That's
Hmm.
the one thing I will say. I liked how it ended
Hmm.
because of who I think Kingpin is.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's going to piss off a lot of people
Hmm.
because exactly what I said. You expect one thing and then something completely different happens,
Hmm.
and that people don't like that. But but what happened? I guess for me, I do that, and then a minute I'm like, oh, and then I go, and then I think about it, and
Hmm.
then I'm like, oh, bravo, clap, clap, and I guess that's why I enjoy those things,
Hmm.
but I think the ending is going to be like this with people. You'll either love it or hate it,
Right.
but but ignoring the ending, I think the show overall was really good,
Okay.
and I enjoy her character, and yeah, and revisiting Kingpin is just
Oh,
such a pleasure.
he's so good in this. What's the character? Vincent something. What's his name?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, he's so good.
and I do
Anyways.
feel he is menacing. Like, I mean, small spoiler, and I'm sorry, it's the price you pay for not getting caught up. Is like, there's an interpreter he has with him,
Hmm.
and she's like, uh, and so she's doing the sign language for Echo as like a little girl,
Hmm.
or no, as an adult. I can't remember. But anyway, he says, very well, you're dismissed. And then she's like walking out, and then like I realized like she's walking to a room covered in plastic shit, and like and then there's a guy behind her, and then the camera pans back to them, but you can just kind of hear like faintly like, oh no, really, Leno, please, please leave, please leave, just let me go, just let me go. And then like you see them wrapping her up and stuff like that.
Jesus.
Like why? Like she did her job perfectly. Like, you know what
Right.
I mean? Like, he just was eating his spaghetti. You know what I mean? Like,
That's great.
uh, they do a great Kingpin. You
No,
know?
so that's great. I haven't finished watching it, so I haven't seen that scene yet. So yeah,
Yeah.
I want to see that. It sounds like they're going to be expanding him, the Kingpin, and further Marvel projects. They're alluding to him eventually being Mayor from New York at some
Oh yeah,
point.
yeah. No, he's their best villain.
Yeah,
I agree. Make him a bigger part of the MCU. He's by far their best villain.
right.
So Echo just showed up to take my money. We'll hold off on Cap until he finishes the series.
Hmm.
Let's do Battle Nerds.
Metal Nerds? Yes. So this would be our weekly segment where we random roll from a list of 100 combatants to place them against each other in a epic nerd battle. My goodness, we've whittled down the combatants down to under 30. Who was it last week?
We
Oh,
now
last.
have 26 fighters, technically 24 because two of them are fighting tonight.
Yes. So we had two returning champions, two number one seeds going up
Yeah,
against
so
each
the
other.
winner upset the polls because we had like several tied in places.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a first place, second place, third place.
Right.
So
So
last
it
week
was
was
Rogue versus Wolverine. We went with a
90s
90s
X-Men.
X-Men Rogue versus Wolverine. Um, who came out on top?
So with like 86% of the vote,
Mm.
Rogue.
Wow.
She dominated. So Wolverine was a first place combatant. He is now out. That means Rogue is in first with 5 wins.
followed by Mr.
Spock is in
Spock,
second
and then Mario,
with
right?
4 wins. And then I kind of like this one because it's like, I could do this all day. America in third place with 3 wins.
Oh, Captain
Like,
America's
he's
in
just
third
this
place?
funky underdog. He's
Okay.
he's on the list. He's the one I'm like, fuck yes, Captain America, do it. You know, like. But Rogue is a surprise to me. I like that she's also our champion right now.
Right.
So tonight we are doing the Killer Rabbit of Carbonog, also known as the White Rabbit,
Right.
from Monty Python. That's who Cap will be representing, and I will be representing the Invincible Iron Man.
So, the way I see this going down is after Thor never returned from his
which is bullshit. How did
out comes Tony Stark to investigate. He sees this cave with all these bones, and he sees Mjolnir there, and he might see like Thor's helmet, and you know, I can picture some guys being there, like warning him, "Hey, oh, there be the lair of, the rabbit of la 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 la."
Yeah, like look. We know how this fight goes down. Okay, I've thought about it from every angle. I ran it through my data. I had them match up 1,000 times just to make sure it wasn't a fluke. So the dude shows up, and he's like, he takes them to the cave. He takes Tony to the cave of Carbonog, and then he's like, okay, Jarvis, keep me covered, and some backup Iron Man suit come out, and then there's like, yes, sir, and then he's like, too late, there it is, and then he's like looking, he's like, what, behind the rabbit? It's a rabbit, and then he's like, what? And then he's like, get in there, Jarvis, and cut its head off. And then the freaking suit goes in, the rabbit jumps, bites the Iron Man. Yeah. And then he's like, Jesus Christ. And they all fly back. And then he's like, and then the guy's laughing. He's, oh, I warned you. And so he's just like, and he's like, shit, what do I do? And he's like, Jarvis, what do we got to beat this thing? And he's like, we have the holy hand grenade. And then he's like, and then he's like, what's that? And he's like, tis one of the relics the brother Maynard carries. And then he summons in his brother Maynard thing, and then he gets the holy hand grenade, and he's like, how does this work? And then he's like, and then Jarvis starts talking. He's like, Ornaments, chapter 2, verses 29 through verses 9 to 21. And Saint Attila raised the hand grenade up on high, saying, "O Lord, and bless this thy hand grenade, and with it thou mayst." Anyway, so we go through all of that.
Damn it!
And then after getting the number of counting right, making sure that the number 3 being the third number. 5 is right out. So he lobbed his holy hand grenade, and then he's like, oh, he's got it. He's like, flies up, and he's like, right, 1, 2, 5, and then Jarvis goes, 3, sir, and he 3, and then he throws it in, and then the rabbit is dead. The end. There is no other way this fight goes. I fucking Doctor Strange the shit out of this. And except instead of it being the one chance, all of them were this.
What, no Bunny Buster armor?
I thought about the Bunny Buster armor, but it would just be like 2 giant rocket cannons of holy hand grenade. Just
oh man. Yeah, so all right. Oh, it's too late. There it is. And just Jarvis, what the hell is the end?
But see, he's too prepared.
I know.
It would be like he would jump out of his armor, and his armor would get decapitated, and then the nanotech would form around him again.
Right.
And
And it's just him dodging this rabbit just gunning for his neck.
as long as you fly back, like, and the rabbit doesn't keep chasing, it
No.
only kills what's in front of it, and so he would have time. The question is, can he survive that initial attack?
Right.
I think he could, because
Right.
he would fly back, and then you could sit there and think about it. I mean, and does it really even have to be a holy hand grenade of Antioch? I mean, I'm guessing if he went tank missile, that would probably do the trick just as good.
Right. You know what? This is fun. I think we kind of exhausted this one. This one
Okay.
was super fun.
So we'll put up a poll on Twitter.
So guys,
Who do you guys-
we're running low on time. We still have
Yeah.
Rebel Moon to talk. So
Yeah. So we'll put up a poll on Twitter. Who do you guys? You can message us here. You can message us on YouTube, Twitch, whatever. Just let us know who you thought won. But polls will be up on Twitter and Facebook. Vote for who you thought won: the Killer Rabbit of Carbonog or the Invincible Iron Man.
Right.
And let's roll for next week. So you got to roll basically a 25 or under.
25.
Yeah, because 26 is
Yeah.
Iron Man. So wait. Oh, I got it.
Hold on.
Oh, cool. Happy with mine. Also, you can't roll a 4 too, because that's the rabbit.
All right. A 10.
Okay. So you got a newcomer. First time fighter. There's only a few of these left. But you got Tarzan.
Oh.
So Cap can use any version of Tarzan he chooses. Comic books, movies, TV shows. It's kind of fun when you get these because you get to do a little bit of research.
Yeah.
And you'll find some cool version of Tarzan.
I like the God. I consumed so much Zorro material from that cartoon.
Yeah, I did that with the Robin Hood fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun when you get those. I've got 19. Tarzan. That's an interesting one because like tech versus the. But I got the Terminator T800 series Model 101. So the original Terminator.
Terminator, you know what? This could almost be like set the two of them up, but the premises is almost like Predator, but the Terminator's hunting the Tarzan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ooh, oh, that'd be cool. Okay, Jungle Cell. Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So next week, Tarzan takes on the T800 series Model 101 Terminator.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm liking that, like as it whittles down, you know, like it's getting fun. Zorro's still on the list, by the way. He's never been taken off, like because he only had the one fight.
Against Snake Eyes, right?
Yeah, did he beat Snake Eyes?
I think it was Snake Eyes. I think he took it.
No, Zorro survived though. Oh, I guess Snake Eyes isn't on the list. Yeah, that's weird. I guess you won that one. I'm surprised Snake Eyes got beaten. That list, it always surprises me how people vote.
Yeah,
it always surprises me.
That was a fun one. Again, I consumed way too much Zorro.
Yeah, the same with like I lost the fight. I mean the vote, but Robin Hood.
Right.
I mean
Robin with a Y.
Yeah, I bought like several comics and I read them all, but it was a fun time reading the comics. You know?
Right. I rewatched Christine for the Christine fight against Spock, which he should have fucking won. Just thump. Anyways,
let's see. Let's do Behold Nerds. So Behold Nerds is our book club. We basically take turns picking movies, comics. Sometimes we look at we take a look at Cap's fictional universe that he's been writing, and we just discuss it. So it was my pick last week as Cap was like, I'm not gonna watch it for a year. I was like, no, you're not. And then and so I chose Rebel Moon, mostly just because I wanted to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And I want to compare it with you to the later one, you know, because it'll be fun.
Right.
What did you think, Cap? What were your thoughts on Rebel Moon?
Better than the Star Wars sequels.
No, okay.
But so Stop with the slow mo. You know what you can do, Zack Snyder? Release one movie and reduce the slow mo so you can tell the whole story.
I think,
Don't pad your films with slow mo of scenes when you can tell the whole story with
or
less
when they
slow
do
mo.
the slow mo, but then it goes even more slow mo for the most epic
No,
part.
just
Yeah,
stop. God, just
I don't know. Look.
I
Here's
understand. Okay, so I understand that this is a stylistic thing. I totally get it. He
yeah,
has.
but here's the thing. As someone that's like worked in like graphic design,
Mhm,
like the first time I learned how to make like text look like fire and things look like fire and
mhm.
make flames, everything I made was flames. And then I learned how to make brick, and I was like, everything is brick. And then you do this as you, and then like you learn glows and it sort of becomes the mark of an amateur. And I'm not calling him an amateur. Do not attack me, Snyder Cult. I'm sorry, I just called you a cult. Um,
Good night, everybody.
but I just mean like I genuinely like Zack Snyder's work, but yeah, I think it's just artists get into overuse of things. Mike Bay with his explosions and what's his name, that one dude with his feet.
No, Tarantino.
Yeah, and you kind of have to just go, okay, that's what I'm in for when I watch their movies, and
Right,
just accept it.
right. It's just. But if you're telling a story, and I've cracked the Snyder Code. I'm going to make one movie, but a long one, and I'm going to release a lesser version of the full story. But
Yeah,
it's going to be a PG-13 version of this story. No, you're going to have to wait later on for me to tell you the whole story, because that way everybody could be upset because they want the full thing. So it's going to force
it's
them to rewatch the
crazy. I
thing, and he's
know.
going to do it. He's going to make me watch it again, but with more
It's like
substance.
it's
Ah,
like you watch Batman versus Superman the first time, and you're like, well, that wasn't good.
right.
And again, don't attack me, Snyder peoples. But
But it
but
wasn't
wait. Then he releases the Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition,
right.
and it's the rest of the movie, and you're like, oh, that's why I didn't like it before. It wasn't the whole movie.
Right.
And you think like, okay, so that's a thing that happened,
Right.
but he keeps doing this
Right.
again and
So
again.
going back, you see why now I didn't want to watch this movie yet. Because
No, I know.
what am I watching? What? Okay, so the characters, I did like the characters. The one character I actually did like was the farmer dude who actually went to go seek everybody's help. And it's funny because he's the titular bitch character of the group. He's the underdog.
Yeah.
He's sort of the Luke Skywalker character because he has his badass moment at the end. And what's her face says, "Oh, he's the real hero right now." It's like, oh shit. So I had for that dumb moment, I enjoyed the movie because it's almost like what I alluded to earlier. It's telling He-Man's story, but through Tila's lens. It's a He-Man story, but Tila's the one who's centered on. It's this farmer's story. It's him who's seeking out these characters to do this thing, but it's told through those who he seeks out to get the help of. And at the end
Here's
of the
why I liked the movie.
mm.
Like, it was cool. and
So
and that's it. That's it. You like fucking super ripped guy riding a bird through the sky, and it's all like, "Ah," and like let's take the slow mo into account, and just, or like walking out and there's the giant moon, or
mm,
like the
I did like some of the
everything
set
that I
pieces.
saw was cool.
Right.
Now here's the problem. The only thing beyond that though,
Mm,
because it was too predictable. It was like talk about shit,
right.
go to planet, pick up guy,
Right.
have a scene with him. All of everything else was, in my opinion, just I needed to know who these characters were. I didn't.
Right.
They just kind of stay in the background now. Final battle,
Right.
whatever. But there are two things that saved this movie for me. The robot was super interesting. It sucks because he was only in like a tiny bit of it.
Right. right.
But that was like, I was like, this is
I really wanted to learn more about the robot, and
right.
then
It couldn't take my eyes off Robot, and he was good enough that I was like, that character was like saved the movie in a lot of ways.
mhm.
And then
But then he runs away like a bitch, and then you don't
yeah,
see him
well,
again.
but not like a bitch. It's because like they made sense.
I know, I'm being
They were
facetious.
telling good story,
Right.
but like, but then, like I said, like then the other part of it is just because I enjoy art enough
Mm.
that like her flipping around with the flag and like blam and like waving and stuff like that. I enjoy visual art enough that I can just be like, wow, it was gorgeous.
Right.
And so for me, it was a gorgeous movie. And I think it's got, but I think as a movie, it needs the rest of the movie.
Right. That's all I'm saying. Just
Yeah.
give me. That's why I'm. Did I hate it? No. Did I find the
No.
characters kind of boring? I thought all the characters were too perfect. None of them were flawed except for the dude who turns out, oh, well, there's your hero right here. Like, so I like that. That was a
It's like they focus on that one dude dying. It's like, well, we met him 5 minutes ago.
right. It kind of had Suicide Squad, the first one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here's this guy. Blah 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 blah. Exposition. Blah blah blah. So, yeah, they are gonna die. But I want the rest of the movie. That's it. I'm gonna reserve.
Yeah.
But see, I don't like that that's his thing. I don't like that. That's his thing. Just give me the whole
Yeah.
movie. I'm a big boy, Zack Snyder. I'm a big boy. I can consume your substance at
I
my
wonder
leisure.
though. I wonder if it's. I get what you're saying, but ultimately their job is to make money.
Right, I get it. So
Yeah.
here, let me give you an example. Two examples. You have Terminator 2, and then you have Aliens. James Cameron has extended cuts of each one. It doesn't impact the story at all on either one of them. It enhances it. It adds, God, the scene from Terminator 2 where Sarah is in the institution and she has this hallucination of Kyle Reese, and he says, "Get up, soldier," and it's that adds to the character. It doesn't not tell 3/4 of your movie.
You know what I would
And
be cool though with is if they like because I agree, but like again, it's probably just a monetary thing, and
no, it's
I
exactly
think.
that. It's exactly that. It's a monetary
But
thing.
what I'm saying is, I don't know if this would make as much money, but it would make me happier.
Mm,
Is if they just fine, have your PG-13 version,
mm.
totally cool, don't care, but release it alongside
Yes,
the longer extended R-rated version,
right. Please,
and then because then I can choose which one I want, and
right,
I don't have to wait a year.
right. And
You
then
know,
we're gonna
because
have to wait 2 more years for
and
the second version
and
of.
then because like the problem is with the waiting is like
I
there's
stopped
no way
caring.
you can avoid finding out what happens in this movie because everybody talks about it.
Right,
So just do a dual release.
right.
But overall, I did enjoy it. I mean, it's sitting at it. You got to do what you got to do.
Mm,
Um, but I think with work, it could. I think the final version I will probably enjoy more. But yeah, I have to judge a movie as it stands. So
right.
it's you got to do what you got to
It
do.
is a gotta do what you gotta do. But I still liked it more than the Star Wars sequels. It definitely has a linear story. Zack
Yeah.
Snyder, he has a beginning, middle, end. There you go. It's how well he tells it. That's what we're going to judge him on his merits. But
But he definitely is a person that enjoys the like, oh my god, look how epic this is, and then look how epic this is, and that's cool. It's just like, and so it's a string of those things together,
right,
but not with like the substance behind it.
the only thing that took me out of the movie was that rebel chick screaming at the end. It was
Mhm.
just so poorly acted, so poorly acted. But that's it. It's a minor gripe. But
Yeah.
maybe with the rest of the movie, it would pad it so that it just feels better. There's more weight to
What's
it.
Your pick?
It's a got to do what you got to do. Like I want.
No. What's your pick for next week?
Oh, Destination Wedding. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna love it. 2018. It is the entire movie is just Keanu Reeves and what's her face, Winona Ryder.
Okay.
That's it. You'll love it. I
All right.
promise you'll love it.
I mean, I love Keanu Reeves. I mean, like, just like I have like I can't watch a movie and not enjoy it. You know what was a rom com? I've talked about it before.
Mm.
I did see a rom com with him, and most of the movie was boring. But you know the guy who plays the in the MCU, um, he was the arresting officer for Ant-Man, and he learns close up
Oh
magic.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's that guy, and then she's a stand-up comedian. I think her name's Amy Wong.
Mm.
They have they're
Amy
best
Wong.
friends, and they're best friends. And then like they were like, oh, when we reach a certain age, if we're not married, let's get married. And they both end up dating other people. But there's a dinner scene, and she's dating act like Keanu Reeves, but he's playing Keanu Reeves. And it is the funniest. Like most of the movie's not good, but it is worth it just for this scene because they're at the most pretentious restaurant ever. Like it's and like he sits down and he's like, "Do you have anything that plays with the idea of like creativity and like?" And he's like, "Yes." And then like you listen to like something and then you're eating and like they're like eating like air and it's and like and then like but then him and the guy from the MCU, they get like weirdly competitive and he's like, oh yeah, you want to punch me in the face, fucking do it. It's so good. Like Keanu Reeves playing Keanu Reeves as this like fucked up version of himself. It is the best thing. Like honestly, I recommend people seek that film out. Skip the whole movie, just watch that like when Keanu Reeves shows up to when he leaves. And then what's funny is at the very end, like they're the two characters are riding away in an Uber and they're like, well, at least he got us an Uber. And he's like, yeah, but he got us an Uber, like what's the economy one? He's like an Uber share or something. That's the worst one. Like because he's known for being so generous and shit.
Right.
Like
it's just completely antithetical to like who he really is. That's funny. That's so funny. But anyway,
so we got enough time. We got a little over 15 minutes left. So do you want to talk our pitches?
So my goodness, we are the pitch nerds, and we do occasionally pitch original ideas of franchises or things, and it has been a while. It was suggested board games. We put together a list, and we random rolled to see what we would get. God, I still don't remember what yours is called. What you rolled? Catan.
Okay, like next time, when my kidney's better and I come down to SoCal, we're playing Catan. You need to know this game.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I will play Catan.
I own it. I'm bringing it with me. Like so, like yeah, you're gonna play. We need one other person, so I'm guessing it'll be Yvette. But like, right. Oh sorry, Mrs. Cap. But yeah, like we'll play it.
Right. I got Chutes and Ladders. My goodness gracious, I did some research on this one. But yeah, I have I can go first. I didn't go into as much detail as I normally do with some of my other pitches, but after speaking with a friend of the host, Richard was Smoking with Frogs. He had mentioned that it had Egyptian ties. Turns out it has Indian ties, Hindu ties, Chutes and Ladders. So I wouldn't actually call it Chutes and Ladders. I would call it by its name. My goodness, I'm probably going to butcher how this is pronounced. My goodness.
I have so much respect for the way you went just now. Like that's awesome. And you found like it's like the lore of the thing, and it's got that's awesome.
Right. India is Moksha Patam is what I would call it, and it's the snakes and ladders are supposed to be the trials and tribulations. The snakes are supposed to be like your pitfalls, and the ladders are supposed to be your ascension. So what this is just your basic hero's tale. So what I would do was I wanted to take the framework from Journey to the West, but tell it as a Bollywood, or I'm sorry, a Bollywood theatric where you have your hero's journey of my goodness, the elephant head, uh, the deity,
Gishnu,
yeah, Gishnu, because that's a boy, and he becomes the head of with the elephant in this deity, and have it be sort of his journey to becoming that deity through the trials and tribulations, the Bollywood spectacular.
Yeah, like what I would do if I were you is hire someone like that like really knows the culture. Kind of
Right,
like what they did with Echo.
right,
They worked with that tribe and stuff like
right,
that.
right, right,
And then so you could get it spot on, you know
right.
what I mean? Because
But
that
see,
would be
like Journey
that's
to
the
the
part you
West,
have to nail.
right?
That's
So it'd be Journey to the West. I want that fun,
yeah.
but a Bollywood
No, no,
spectacular.
I totally and the
Like,
Bollywood genre, I don't know if you know this,
it's
is
huge, right?
perfect for
And
that.
so, bro,
They have the craziest shit.
like I want
Like
to see that. I would love to see that.
have you seen like the RRR that's like all over
Hmm.
Netflix?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where they're like throwing fucking like tigers at people in slow motion and shit. Like it's the craziest shit. Or there's this one movie where this like it's like about a cyborg that like falls in love and he's like and he like summons all this stuff. He's
Hmm.
running sideways along trains and
See,
yeah,
I still
they're
love the
perfect for
I still
that.
love the
Yeah, well,
Superman.
that one's not good, but no, they've created some really impressive.
No, they
But they
really
don't
have.
give a shit on the effects. They go CGI should be fun,
Right,
and so they don't try and make it look too realistic. Like, but it looks good enough, and they have fun with it. So
right.
it kind of in some ways beats what we get because like the best we get that's like that
Hmm.
is stuff like Sharknado, but the effects are way shittier than what they put more effort into it. You
Right.
know?
So I want to capture that, and
Yeah.
it be the trials and tribulations. Follow your titular hero, um, Journey of the
Do you
West
have any
style.
idea who your hero is going to be?
No, I would leave that. I would leave that to whoever I hire to be the cultural, um, expert.
Like maybe someone from like their lore or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, but find a way to have it almost be like a Luke Skywalker thing, but
But like, yeah, is your board game mascot going to be at the front of it? Like, so
no, no,
people
no. So
understand that.
it's just that because it's the board game itself derives from India, and it's the
No, I know. I'm just wondering if like just as a stylistic choice, could you maybe like incorporate like when he's like ascending,
oh yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Show the
like
actual ladder,
maybe yeah, or like or like
or have the
almost
snake be
be
like the
like
villain or something. Like
like what if you had like some like he's like a dude from that culture and he's an archaeologist
mhm,
and he's like looking into the origins of shoots and ladders
right,
and then like he like and like so he's like following like he's like playing the game almost as he's going
so
through
I
it,
was
you know.
I had a thought like that initially with that, and almost going like a Jumanji Indiana Jones style, but
Yeah,
Bollywood.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
want it to be Bollywood. Like it
yeah.
needs
Yo,
to be
totally, yeah.
It needs to be Bollywood.
You could almost also because Bollywood does like you got to break into all those dance
Right,
numbers,
like yeah, I want that.
and then so that's where you do the game side of it. Is
Yes.
like he's ascending, and so they're doing like the
Yeah,
ascending
yeah,
dance
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff
There you
like
go. Fucking see
that.
there. Give us a bag of money right here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You know,
so
I like
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I that sounds awesome. I think you knocked it out of the park. I'm really really impressed by that.
Yes.
So I got Catan. Cap's not familiar with it, but it's a really popular board game right now. We have a game night and we play more Catan than anything else.
Mm,
Basically, the game is you have an island, and they're each and it's you build the island each time, and you have tiles you set down.
mm,
So resources are or each tile is a resource.
mm,
There's wheat, brick, wool, fucking I don't remember.
Mm.
Like steel ore.
Mm.
Anyway, and so to build stuff, you need to collect resources. So anytime you set down a house, which represents a settlement,
Mm.
and then you set down a road. So and then you roll dice. Each segment has a number attributed. So if you roll one that your settlement's on, that means you get some of that resource.
Mm.
So on your turn, you go, okay, you look at the resources you have, and then you want to build more stuff, and it costs you resources.
Mm.
And so you can trade with other players on your turn. And so it's all, and then basically the point of the game is to keep, you want to keep building your settlements and cities. And then once you got the biggest settlement, you win the game.
Right.
Okay. So to that end, it sounds to me that this works best as a series,
Right.
not a movie.
Right.
Because I need to tell a longer story.
Right.
So what I would do is I would set it up so
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. So I would have 3 civilizations,
Mm.
and because there's a color coding system in the game,
Mm.
I would strongly emphasize color in each one.
Okay.
So one would be white, one would be orange,
Mm-hmm.
and one would be blue.
Okay.
And so there would be and like I imagine like I would follow specific characters from each group and
Right.
then kind of how they cross over.
Right.
And then there's a 4th group. And then and again I imagine it would be sepia tone. There's the thief character. And I imagine because it's just a tiled thing, but for me that would be like I would make a thieves guild to hang out in the desert. And basically I would tell a long story about these different houses and these different colors, if you will. Basically trying to expand, and then because in the game you fuck over each other,
Right.
because like you can, like if you build your stuff here, they can't build, and then you can block them out of resources, and then it's all about what resources you control. And so that would how I'd wrap my story, and then the random element is going to be like the weather, which
Right.
is the dice.
Right.
Because like yeah, you've got a wheat field, but like nobody's rolled a 4 in forever, so you're not getting any wheat.
Right.
And you're like fuck, I need wheat.
Right.
And then like you're trying to trade with other people, and then as you play this game, like you kind of have to like learn, like you look around, you know that nobody has any bricks, so everybody is dying for brick. So as soon as brick gets rolled, that person becomes like the most powerful person in the game. And so it lends itself to a long
like a slow running series. Okay.
Yeah, like put out on HBO.
You know what? You know what I think would be like a good like framework for this would be like the Hatfields and McCoys kind of type deal, kind of borrow from that element, maybe just have the rivalries.
Yeah, but you have to work with people as much as you have to work against them.
Okay.
Because you trading is absolutely necessary. And then what also happens is another player ends up really powerful, and you have to stop them, because you can build armies in the game.
Nice.
And you get like who has the largest army gets things, and then who has the longest road gets things. If they got both of those, you have to like stop them, and so you shut down trade with them. And like and it's because you can't let them they'll almost win, and then you rip it away from them. And so there's a lot of like what it is I play this game, and me and my sister's boyfriend, we are in mortal combat every time we play this game. And so that's what I would have. I would have me and him as characters, basically.
Right.
And then there would be my sister who's like I'm just playing the game because it's fun. You know what I mean? And yet somehow she's kicking everybody's ass.
Right. That's serendipitous luck.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it would be an interesting series. I think you can do a lot with it. And
Right.
like I said, my central themes would be I'd play with color to represent the different groups. And also I would it would be about resources and things like that.
Yeah.
And like and trade, and then also more like less, I guess, actual violence and more the threat of violence.
Right. No, that's cool. I dig it. I wish I played the game, but I think I understand enough of it to get it. I agree. It does seem better as a series. Game of Thrones style. I love your use of taking the colors and applying it. You did that with the turtles, which is a cool thought. Yeah, shut up and take my money. I'd watch it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I dig it. We haven't really discussed what our next pitches would be. Oh, and plus, what did y'all think of our pitches? And if you have any suggestions for pitches, please let us know. We don't really have anything predetermined coming up. We should do a best of where we just reflect on our previous pitches.
Well, no, let's think about it. We got 4 minutes. Let's think about a pitch we would like to do. What's something that sounds fun? I mean, I'm always happy doing a superhero movie, but
we already did a superhero movie though.
I know we have, but I mean, you can always just pick a character and do one.
Yeah.
And they're always fun because, you know what I mean. It's like how do you? They're not easy, you know,
right?
And people spit on them, and I think that there's something fun to just taking a character and saying, you know what would I have done, you know?
Right. I had fun doing my Deadpool pitch. That was fun. Make it.
Yeah.
I made it woke.
Okay. What about this? How about this? Pitch an original superhero movie.
Oh.
Your own character. Can't come from anything. I mean, it can be inspired, obviously.
Okay.
But you make your own character. And not one we've talked about. Like, I'm not going to use Vincent.
Okay. You know what? I won't use anything from Quantum. I will use my first idea. His name is Captain Awesome O. I have a picture of him somewhere. It was my first attempt at, like, coming up with, like, a superhero as a kid. God, let me see if I have a picture of it somewhere. Oh my goodness. He's here somewhere. Where is he? Anyways, I'll find him. But yeah, I'm down for that. It was like a kid's thing. Oh, I'm gonna find him.
Okay, listen to my thing, right? This is how prepared I am. And this is not because I just came up with this idea right now. But I have a little saved file.
Okay.
Called My Pantheon.
Jesus
so my god tier character is Thurhanok, the immortal worm. Basically a dragon.
Okay.
That's the top tier of my verse.
Okay.
Now in my heroes, I threw in Vincent Storm, but also Mystic Knight. He is a Sumerian male. He is the ultimate champion of Earth. Basically, think like he summons armor around himself. He has like kind of like a Red Hood design, like a motorcycle helmet, and but he's just pure martial arts, like the ultimate Jet Li, but I can defy gravity. Yeah, so that's him. Then my next character is Death Metal. Death Metal is an alien. It's an androgynous being. Like I want him to represent like an angel. Has a metal suit, protects Earth from invading alien species, and is concerned with some kind of eventual war. Think Tekkaman from anime.
Okay.
Then I have Moloch, Lord of the Primordial Lands. His skin is green. He lives in the Primordial Lands, which is a land where there's giant monsters roaming around. And he has a pet saber-toothed cat named Nocturne.
Nice.
Then I have the Crucible. This is an African-American male. He has flight, superhuman strength, durability, basically all the kind of Superman-like powers, minus the extras like the vision and all that shit. You know, just the flight. He's like kind of like Rogue, you know, but without.
Yeah.
He's younger. He's in college. His power comes from armor forged during the Crusades. So he wears like a Crusade-style armor. Then I even have my neutral tier guys, the guys that like aren't bad or good. One of them you'll recognize is Frostblood.
Of course.
It's an albino Dampier of elven ancestry. He's a druid. He's charged with upholding the balance between life and death. Then I have God Killer. She's a Korean female. She's a genius, ultra wealthy, runs a company. Usually has 3 pieces of tech, a blade that cuts through space, used for teleporting, and can't actually do anything else. Just she slices and then jumps through space.
That's cool.
And then she has a harness that allows her to become insubstantial, so she can like you can't touch her. And then she has a gauntlet. So like if Hulk punched her, she'd stop his fist, absorb the force of the blow, and then she'd go boom and hit him back. Um, and then so it just absorbs all incoming things and then returns it to you.
Okay.
And then villains: Princess Malice, vampire, basically best warrior ever. Oblivion, like Juggernaut if he was undead
Mm-hmm.
and he's so huge that he's wrapped in chains because his muscles are expanding too much.
Nice.
But he's like an undead version, so he's kind of rotting and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Thrallin, the Dragon's Hand, another female Sumerian. She wields gauntlets empowered by the immortal
Mm-hmm.
worm. She's tied to that Ultimate Warrior guy. Brigand, he's like my Soviet era robot.
Mm-hmm.
Axe Star, he's the antithesis of the other androgynous alien character.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thune, the demigod and son of Shiva.
Yeah, it's nice to peek inside your creative brain there, buddy. Damn.
I wrote that a while ago. Like I wanted to create. I just bored, and I was like, if I were to make my own universe, like Invincible or Marvel,
right?
These are my players.
So I actually did assemble that in Quantum, and in the intro, I did sort of break down how I arranged the power scale. I loosely based off the Kardashev scale, where it's 0 through 5. You've Adrian suggested that I depict it a different way, and I liked his idea, just sort of show like the tiers, because right now I just have everything listed. But yeah, I go by the Kardashev scale. So type 0 is, you can't really do much. Type 1's the ability to harness the power of a planet, then a star, then dark matter, dark energy, and then it's like multiversal power from there, and it's just scaling up the levels of
I didn't want to go too powerful because I find that's a problem in a lot of superhero stuff. It gets stupid.
Right.
And so I kept it very like I said, the God tier, there's only one, it's this dragon character.
Right.
And by God tier, I just really mean Earth. Well, I guess, yeah, the aliens are kind of from outside of Earth. Right. So that's as far as I went. I hate that. Like someone you see stuff like, oh, like Frieza could solo the entire Invincible universe. So they're different universes. Like, who cares?
Right.
So Omni-Man would lose against Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, of course. So, and what I try to do in my universe is the God characters, the God tier characters, I have them as exactly that. They don't really interfere. They only interfered a couple times, but there are a couple that, even though they have godlike capabilities, doesn't necessarily mean that they themselves are God just because of the capabilities. They're still mortal in a sense. So it's kind of toying with that idea a little bit.
Hey, by the way, thank you for letting me rattle that off. That might have been a boring rant, but it was
no. I actually, as I was listening, I was trying to find my doodles of my comic book guy so I can hold him up so you can kind of see the evolution of this character. No, I'm amazed you held on to this for this long.
I have tons of stuff like that, dude. I get bored and I write, and like for example, I was watching The Hobbit and they were talking about the different meals, and then I googled like what are the kind of foods the hobbits eat, and I built my meal schedule if I was a hobbit once. I shared it online and stuff, and people started reposting like what they would do.
That's funny.
It was pretty good. But yeah. So yeah, to reiterate, our next one's going to be original superhero universe. Really looking forward to this one.
Actually, you know what I'll do then? I'll go Quantum then. So what I will do is I'll pick from one of the several things. I think I'm going to go with the warrior monks on this one. My Jedi characters.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck yeah. The Vlok, the Valak. Anyways, we'll talk more about it later. We are running a little bit behind. We're going to do horseback riding today. For those who watch, sorry about the delay, but thanks for watching. Do all the stuff, like, comment, subscribe, all those goodies. We like to end the...
Well, I just want to start doing this as when we end shows. I just want to say thank you to people at Real Super Killers, at Beetlebear, at Inkport Studios, at Neko Meowster, at Impact Comics, at Rob0797, of course, Smoking with Frogs.
Yes.
Thank you guys for all the support you've given us over the years. And thank you for all the support you gave me like while I was in the hospital. It was really awesome.
Yes. Now, we do like to end the show with a nerdy quote. Mr. Frosty, take it away.
I am my powers and the good they can do for my friends and the whole world. I reckon maybe I can live with that after all.
Tony Stark.
Nope. Rogue.
Rogue. Yeah.